So today we will be discussing activity ratios or turnover ratios. And why it is called activity ratios? Because actually these ratios will help you in measuring efficiency of the management in using the resources. It will help you to calculate or to estimate the speed with which the resources of the organizations are used or are converted into sales. So first activity ratio is inventory turnover ratio. So first thing is that you should be clear about the meaning of inventory. Inventory is the quantity of raw materials or work in progress or finished goods or stock in trade available at a particular point of time in the organization is termed as inventory, or in simple words you can call it stock. So inventory turnover ratio is equal to, now see the formula, cost of revenue from operations upon average inventory. So in numerator it is cost of revenue from operations and in denominator it is average inventory. So cost of revenue from operation is same as last year you have learned cost of goods sold. It is just like that. So if you remember the formula of cost of goods sold, you can easily correlate it with the cost of revenue from operation. See the formula of cost of revenue from operation. Purchase of stock in trade plus material consumed plus change in inventory. So it seems to be a little bit different, but change in inventory is equal to opening inventory minus closing inventory. Change in inventory is opening inventory minus closing inventory. So if you keep this instead of keeping change in inventory, then you will find opening inventory plus purchase of stock in trade plus material consumed minus closing inventory. So same was the formula last year for cost of goods sold. Opening plus purchase plus direct expenses minus closing. This all is available in statement of profit and loss. You will find these all informations in the profit and loss statement. Cost of sales or cost of goods sold. So cost of revenue from operation is nothing. It is actually cost of sales or cost of goods sold. Direct expenses, where you will get direct expenses. Direct expenses will be available in notes to accounts for employee benefit expense or other expense. If you will see the notes to accounts for these two expenses, you will be able to find some of the direct expenses there. Instead of average inventory, simply take value of inventory from balance sheet. If you are calculating activity ratio for your project work, then instead of taking average inventory, just take the inventory of that year. Because for current year, you will be able to get closing inventory as well as opening inventory. But for previous year, you will not be able to get the opening inventory. That is the reason. So for project purpose, this point has been written. Otherwise, if you are calculating ratio in exams or in your practice, then we will always consider average inventory. Now, what is the formula of average inventory? Average inventory is opening inventory plus closing inventory divided by 2. So add both of the inventories and divided by 2, you will get the average inventory. Then one more ratio we calculate along with this ratio, that is called average age of inventory, or in other words you can call it inventory holding period. So that period will be calculated on the base of 365 upon inventory turnover ratio. If you want to calculate inventory turnover ratio in terms of days, then you will be keeping in numerator 365. If you want to calculate inventory turnover ratio in the terms of months, then instead of 365 you will be writing here 12. Instead of writing here, it will be 12. And if you want to calculate it in weeks, then instead of 12 it will be 52, because in a year there are 52 weeks. So you have to see, sometimes this ratio is given in the question, average age of inventory or inventory holding period is given. So you have to use the formula accordingly in which terms the answer is given. It measures efficiency in inventory management. So how efficiently you are managing your inventory, that is actually given. You can actually estimate that by inventory turnover ratio. Like suppose your inventory holding period is coming 40 days and the competitor inventory holding period is coming 35 days. So it means that your competitor is managing inventory more efficiently than you, because he is converting his inventory into sales, into revenue from operations within 35 days, but you are converting into 40 days. That is the meaning of inventory turnover ratio. It shows the speed with which the inventory is rotated into revenue from operations, or number of times inventory is rotated into revenue from operations during the year. So now we will calculate the inventory turnover ratio. So from the following, calculate inventory turnover ratio. Cost of revenue from operations 6 lakh. Inventories in the beginning of the year 1,25,000. Inventories at the close of the year 1,75,000. Simple question. All informations are given. So first we will write the formula, inventory turnover ratio is equal to cost of revenue from operations average inventory. Average inventory. So this is the formula. Now first I will calculate the average inventory. Average inventory is equal to opening inventory plus closing inventory divided by 2. Is equal to opening inventory is given 1,25,000. 1,25,000 plus closing inventory is given 1,75,000. And I will write in simple form, divided by 2. So now your total inventory will be 125 plus 75, 2 lakh plus 3 lakh, divided by 2. It will become 1,50,000. 1,50,000. So your average inventory is 1,50,000 and your cost of revenue from operation is 6 lakh. So now I can calculate the ratio is equal to 6 lakh divided by 1,50,000 and 15 for the 60. That's why it will come 4 times. So 4 times signifying that you convert your inventory into your revenue from operation 4 times in a year. You convert your inventory into turnover into your sales 4 times in a year. This is the meaning of this 4 times. So you can compare it with your competitor or your past performance also. Suppose for last 3 years, this ratio was 6 times. And now this ratio is coming 4 times. That means now your inventories are not managed efficiently in comparison to your previous performances. Or if you can compare it with your competitors also, like you are having 3 competitors, one is having 5 times, one is having 6 times, one is having 3 times. So means 2 are better than you and you are better than 1. So that way you can compare your ratios. Now one more ratio we can calculate along with this ratio here. We can calculate inventory holding period. Inventory holding period. Or we can also call it average age of inventory. Age of inventory means how many days you keep it in your stock. Average age of inventory. How much type inventory is with you. So it will be 365 upon inventory turnover ratio. Three 65 upon inventory. I will write in short here because the space is not available. But always don't write abbreviations otherwise. So if I calculate it, so 365 upon, it will be 4 because my inventory turnover ratio was 4 times here. So that means is equal to 4 9 is 36, 4 1 is 4. Then remainder will be 1. So 0.2, 91.2 days. It will be 91.2 days, or we will round it off because more than 91, any reaction will be another day. So can round it off 92 days. We can write simply 92 days. But you have to show both of the numbers. First, you will write the fraction 91.2 days, and then you can write or 92 days. So means my inventory holding period is 92 days. In 92 days, I am converting my inventory into revenue from operations or sales. This is the meaning. If you will be calculating in months, then 12 upon 4, that will be equal to 3 months. So about 3 months is my inventory holding period. So in months, it will be calculated as such. Or if you want to calculate in weeks, then it will be 52 divided by 4. So then the answer will be 4 1s are 4, 3, 13 weeks. So this way, this answer can be in 3 terms, in days, in months, and in weeks. But this ratio will always be expressed in times. So these are the 2 ratios which we calculate for observing the efficiency in inventory management. Now see the next question. Let's move to the next page. Calculate inventory turnover ratio if cost of revenue from operations rupees 3 lakh, purchase rupees 4 lakh, Opening inventory rupees 50,000. Also calculate inventory holding period or average age of inventory. So now first we will write the formula of inventory turnover ratio. Only then we will be able to decide what we have to calculate. So inventory turnover ratio is equal to cost of revenue from operations upon average inventory. Now cost of revenue from operations is given to us, but we can't calculate average inventory because value of opening inventory is given, but closing inventory is not given. So with the help of the value of cost of revenue from operations, I will be able to calculate the value of closing inventory. So here I will write the formula of cost of revenue from operations. Cost of revenue from operations is equal to opening inventory plus purchase minus closing inventory. Minus closing inventory. So it will be is equal to opening inventory is given 50,000. Purchases are also given 4 lakh. Here I will write the value of cost of revenue from operation also. 3 lakh is equal to 50,000 plus 4 lakh and minus closing inventory because I have to calculate this value. So now closing inventory will be equal to closing inventory is equal to closing inventory will be equal to 1,50,000 because it will come that side and 3 lakh will come this side. So 4,50,000 minus 3 lakh, it will become 1,50,000. So now I got the value of opening inventory and closing inventory. I will be able to calculate their value easily. Average value of average inventory. It will be 50,000 plus 1,50,000 divided by 2. That's why this value will be 2 lakh divided by 2. 2 lakh divided by 2. And that's why average inventory will come 1 lakh. Now average inventory is 1 lakh and cost of revenue from operation is 3 lakh. So I will change the value here. Cost of revenue from operations is 3 lakh upon average inventory, it is 1 lakh. So this time my average inventory ratio is coming 3 times. Now again I will calculate. Question is also asking the inventory holding period or average age of inventory. So here I will write the formula for it. Inventory holding period is equal to 365 divided by inventory turnover ratio. Is equal to 365 divided by inventory turnover ratio is 3. So 3 ones are 3, 3 2s are 6, then 3 ones are 3, then 2 will be the remainder, 0.6 days, 1 point days. I can write it this way, or 122 days. So in days it will be like this, or if I want to calculate in months, is equal to 12 divided by 3 is equal to 4 months. So that means that I hold my inventory before it get converted into revenue from operations for 4 months. So I hope till here it is clear. Now see the next question. Next question is saying that your revenue from operations is 3 lakh. See, this time cost of revenue from operation is not given. Revenue from operations is given. Inventories in the beginning of the year 29,000. Inventories at the close of the year 31,000. Gross profit is given 20%. So gross profit is given 20%. 20% of what? 20% of revenue from operations. Gross profit is equal to 20% of revenue from operations. If it will be of cost, question will state it specifically. Otherwise, it will always be assumed on revenue from operations. So 20% of revenue from operations will be 20%, 20 upon 100, or you can see, write it 3 lakh multiplied by 20 upon 100. And that means it will be 60,000. So now you know your gross profit. That's why you will be able to calculate cost of revenue from operations. Cost of revenue from operations is equal to revenue from operations minus gross profit. So it will be 3 lakh minus 60,000. So your cost of revenue from operation will be 2 lakh 40,000.